Hi, my name is Rachelle Smith, entrepreneur, professional speaker, and author. Here at home, about to make yet another delicious meal here in Rachelle's kitchen. My favorite part of the house. Last time, I talked about the importance of celebrating our evolution and really looking back on our lives, not with regret, not with shame, not with condemnation or humiliation or any of those negative reactions or emotions, but looking back with appreciation for how much we've grown and how much we've evolved. And as I told you, one thing that I often do is think back on those lives, and is literally, since I take a lot of pictures and videos, think of them as snapshots, of a particular time period or frames, and actually here at Rachelle's kitchen, something that is prominently displayed is myself on the front of the Wheaties box. This was back in my kind of immediate post-Northwestern days. In my first position in the corporate world, as I mentioned, I started out in marketing. General Mills, a wonderful, wonderful marketing company, top marketing company. But as I alluded to a couple of episodes ago, in which I discussed the fear of failure, just was not a good fit for me. I was just, not happy with the position that I had, not happy living in Minneapolis. And so there's actually, in addition to that fear of failure, I actually want to delve into something a little bit this time. When I mentioned last time that how much we've evolved and we need to celebrate that. And it all kind of ties together, that fear of failure, appreciating our evolution. And as I think back to my own evolution and kind of when this whole kind of inspirational aspect of my life assignment really started coming to pass, and that was in 2005. I actually started writing then weekly inspirational narratives and would send those out via email. And I know there's several of you who've known me, of course, since that time, and even some who've known me much longer than that, who remember receiving those. And I would send those out every week, these weekly narratives. And probably the biggest thing, when I think back to my own evolution, one of the biggest things that I've evolved from in terms of dealing with is people pleasing. And so I mentioned that fear of failure, all of that. There's a root of people pleasing. And if you're a human being living, breathing, walking on the face of the earth, I assure you, you have problems with people pleasing. None of us are immune. And this was something, and I'm a Southern belle. Yes, I live in Michigan. Yes, I've lived up north for a long time now, but I will always be a Southern belle. Spent most of my life in childhood years south of the Mason-Dixon line. So yes, Rachelle, you're so sweet is something that I even still hear very often. So I'm a Southern belle, and at the heart of every Southern belle is what? A people pleaser. So I was a big one, but I've definitely evolved in this area, and I want to spend the next few segments, I'm not sure how many parts this is going to end up being, but I wanted to start out today by mentioning, as an introduction, basically the concept of people pleasing, and essentially what that is yes, in a nutshell, do we all want to make people happy? Yes. But what we have to do is ask ourselves, is that need rooted in a sense of confidence, a sense of giving, a sense of security, and wanting to add value to relationships, wanting to add value to situations? Or is it coming from a root of insecurity? If I don't do this, then they'll get mad. If I don't do this, then they won't like me anymore. If I don't do this, I'll cut them out of my life. Or even if I do this, they may cut me out of my life. I mean, it could be if I don't do this, or even if I do this. And unfortunately, most human beings, and we actually, let me take that back. All human beings struggle with this in some aspect of their life, because we all want to be liked, we all want to be accepted, we all want to be approved of, we all want to belong. Unless you're a sociopath or a psychopath who gets off on, making people mad and generating these reactions and just being a truly evil person. For the rest of us, we just want to make people happy. We want to get along. We want to have good relationships. But unfortunately, this whole people pleasing, and there's a subset of it that's actually called approval addiction, where you are just so addicted to everyone's approval around you. And that can manifest itself in several ways. Perfectionism. Perfectionists often don't like to make people mad. They don't like to disappoint people. They don't like to make, rock the boat in any way. They just want people to be pleased with them, want people to accept them. And what is that truly rooted in? A root of rejection, okay? If I don't get an A, then my parents will reject me. If I don't do this perfectly, then my boss won't give me a perfect performance review and I'll feel like a failure. So There's so many different aspects of this whole concept of people pleasing, but approval addiction is a big one. So I challenge you, let me ask you, is your life based on making everyone around you happy? Are you addicted to everyone's approval? It doesn't even have to be friends, family. It could be strangers, people you don't even know. It just literally terrifies you to make people mad or to experience any type of disapproval. Okay? We've all been there, particularly in your high school years where you just want to fit in, you want to belong. But one thing I often say is insecurity, that lack of confidence, that whole I need to belong and just be part of the crew, and this peer pressure, caving into peer pressure. Okay, that's acceptable in high school because, we're all trying to find ourselves and determine who we really are. But as adults, we really need to make sure that we're doing things for the right reasons and with right motives. So if you're living your life based on trying not to make anybody get mad at you, trying to make sure everyone likes you, let me free you today. And I tell you again from personal experience, because that whole kind of need to be liked was huge for me. And so over the years, since I've evolved, as I mentioned, this whole kind of life transformation for me started in 2005. And so I would have this whole thing where, I want to be liked and yada, yada, yada. I have a classic sales personality, so that's just very common. That's actually one of the predictors of success. Do you have a need to be liked? Because you need customers. People buy from people they like. So there's kind of that whole notion. But when you have this need to be liked and to be accepted, to be approved of, to belong, if that is basically like controlling your life, if that need or those needs are controlling your life, you will never be happy. And truly, folks, all of these segments, regardless of what the topic is rooted in helping you to live a happier life. Because there's a lot of lessons that I've learned on my own journey towards happiness that I'm so excited to share with you during these tips on a weekly basis. But this whole people pleasing, living your life, basically being controlled by other people, not really doing what you want to do because you don't want to make anyone mad. You don't want to rock the boat. And do we do things that we don't want to do? Absolutely. That's just part of living on this earth and being a human being. But what I'm saying is, if you're losing sleep at night, if you're anxious, if you're worried, there's a lot of these kind of atypical human reactions and responses that we can have that are truly rooted in this, approval addiction or disease to please. And it is truly a disease to please. So what I've had to learn and how I've evolved is to say, guess what? Rachelle, no matter what you do, no matter what you say, there will always be someone and there will always be people that disagree, that don't like it, that think you should be doing something else, that you should have done it this way, you should have done it that way. And so this whole need to be liked and this whole need to be accepted by everyone, folks, that used to be a big one for me. I will not deny that. Okay, but I had to learn the lesson. Not everyone's going to like me, no matter what I do or say. Not everyone's going to accept me, no matter what I do or say. But the important thing is for me to like myself and accept myself. Because the more that I accept myself and like who I am, then the less I need other people on the outside to like me. And folks, that is a revelation right there. If you're taking notes, please write that one down. The key to living a true life of happiness and overcoming this disease to please and this approval addiction is learning to like yourself, learning to accept yourself, faults and all. Okay, as I've said multiple times, we're all imperfect human beings. No matter what we do, as long as we're walking on the face of the earth in these mortal human bodies, we will not be perfect. Okay, and so to try to create this utopia where everyone's happy and we can make people happy, folks, at the end of the day, we're all responsible for our own happiness. So if you're living your life, as I did many years ago, trying to make sure everyone around you is happy, and it's just not going to work. You're going to wear yourself out trying. You're going to burn out. It's just not going to be a good situation. And so what I want to do is just really challenge you today to think about, this whole disease to please, this approval addiction, this people pleasing. Think about how it's impacted you in your life, okay? Because I want to challenge you to grow and to evolve as I have. Because it is truly, truly, truly a huge, huge, huge aspect of my life transformation and the reason why I am so happy. I love people, yes. I'm a giver, yes. But unfortunately, I can't please people all the time. I can't do everything that people want me to do. I have a leadership role. I love people. You know, God has gifted me with the ability to lead people and love people and want to see the best for people. And so, you know, unfortunately, and fortunately, I guess in both cases, I'm asked, people are approaching me, asking me, can you do this? Can you take the lead on this? Can you do this committee? We need you to head this up. Okay, and that's wonderful. And I'm just so honored to have been asked. But the inability to tell people no, folks, will literally just kill any chance of happiness that you have in life. Okay? Because years ago, I was a people pleaser. Yes, yes, yes. Didn't want to disappoint anybody, make anyone mad. And so telling people no was just not something that was easy for me to do. Well, it's very easy now. Because like I told you, I have to protect my time. I have a purpose. I have a life mission and a purpose. And unfortunately, the needs of other people can't deter or detract me from that purpose. And so, yes, I would love to serve on every committee. Yes, I would love to take the lead on every project or initiative that people come at me with, but I can't do it. And so I'm very quick to tell people, hey, I'm honored. This was wonderful. This is a wonderful initiative or project you have, but unfortunately, I will not be able to participate. But I wish you all the best on this. Because if we're saying yes to everything, you're overcommitted, you don't have time, you're stressed out, that's just not a good way to live, folks. And I've been there, okay? But do I do things that I don't want to do? Absolutely. Do I make time for something and some things that I feel are important, that I can truly add value to, and it will truly make a difference? You know, when somebody comes at me with a project or initiative, yeah, absolutely, yes, I do. But I'm very, very, very strategic and very, very methodical about what I do and how I invest my time. And so this whole notion of me always pleasing people and not wanting to make people mad, that is gone. Because once again, I accept myself. I like myself, so other people's reactions to me or my yes or my no or whatever response I have, it's just not going to faze me, okay? But that has been years of evolution, folks. As I mentioned, 2005 is when it started. This is 2016. And so it's been years and years and years of growth. And so I challenge you, think about this people pleasing. Think about the role that it's playing in your life unhappiness. Because I promise you, it's a subtle saboteur. And many times we don't think about kind of why we're unhappy and why we're so stressed out and why we don't have enough time for things and we're always rushing and we feel like we can't, you know, effectively do things. That people pleasing, I promise you, is one of the causes. So folks, thanks so much for your time and make it a wonderful day.